You asked, we answer. On this episode of the 2000 AD In Orbit every Wednesday show, we are answering your questions, our audience. Thank you very much to everyone who sent a question in. It'll be me, it'll be Chloe, it'll be you. It's cozy. It's the Q&A episode.
Get 2000 AD now. Get.
Well, welcome to In Orbit every Wednesday, Earthlets. I am Molch-R. This is Chloe, and this is our Q&A episode. We put the shout out on
Yay.
social media for questions about 2000 AD, about the episode, about us, and I wouldn't say droves, but a fair few of you did actually ask questions, and some of them are repeatable.
Yeah. I kinda we got a bunch from the NGL, like the anonymous submission thing, and I kinda wish I knew who had asked them because those were the
Oh,
most fun.
did you do that on Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Oh, well, all right, okay, yeah,
Yeah. But
great.
this is also the 6-month anniversary of this particular iteration of the podcast, so
It
happy
is.
birthday.
Happy birthday! I didn't. You know what? I thought to myself the other day. Oh, it's been about 6 months, but
Yeah.
yeah, 15th of January, we
Mhm.
started. So, I well, you know what? First off, thank you to you
Me?
for you, yeah,
Oh.
for for tolerating this for so long, tolerating me for so long as
Oh,
well.
this is fun. Mike, we've been friends for, like, 10 years now. I think that
So
we can
good.
do once a week.
It's nice. I kind of I was trepidatious about the weekly thing, but yeah, I think it's worked out
Fun. We're having
really
a
nice.
good time. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mike. Thank
Oh,
you for
bless. No one has
for
tuned in for this. um, but yes, wonderful. Well, I mean, let's you know what, let's crack on to
dive
fit as
in.
many questions in as possible. You have the spreadsheet in front of you,
I
so
do.
let's begin
Okay.
with the first question.
I'm picking one from the anonymous questions because I love this one. Why have the credit boxes gotten so small recently?
You know what? You know what? I don't know. I don't know. I will have to ask Gemma and Sam, who are our designers, in-house designers on 2080. I had noticed that, and they'd started sort of
Yeah,
going sideways,
yeah.
which when you have slight pattern recognition difficulties, it's quite difficult to spot. But nothing nefarious. I'm sure it's just a design choice, and yeah, I'll find out about that one. But
Like,
yeah, it's funny.
thank you to whoever submitted that because I looked at that and I was like, "Fuck me, they really have, haven't they?"
And the thing is, I have an awful lot of sympathy with the designers because kind of page design has changed an awful lot over the course of 2000 AD's life. But the credit box, as wonderful as it is, brought in by Kevin McNeil to ensure that creators got credit, it's still bloody awkward to fit onto a page. Like,
Yeah.
making sure that all three or four or even five names are included. Um, and actually, readers, tell us your favorite iteration of the credit box,
Oh, that's a good one.
because I have my personal favorite, which is the Compu what's it
Yeah.
457 or whatever it is. Well, I think, well, the original was Kevin O'Neill, but I think Robin Smith may have updated them at some point as our editor. I don't, I may have got that wrong. I don't know, but that was almost favorite. But tell us your favorites of those.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Let's pick another one. Um, uh, I wanna get into this is from SGCH on Blue Sky. I want to
Mm.
get into 2000 AD. Any tips? I hear there's special jumping on points, but I'm unsure when the next one is. Good news, SGCH.
How timely! It is the perfect opportunity. Is Prog 2437, which is out this week. What fortuitous timing!
Yes.
And in there you have Judge Dredd. As always, you've got Scarlet Traces, which is one of the ongoing stories, which is brilliant. You've got a Future Shock. You've got New Earth Tales, which is Rogue Trooper. Ghosted continues. You've got Fiends of the Eastern Front, and you've got Garth Ennis writing Judge Dredd and Strontium Dog.
Ooh.
with some absolutely stunning artwork by Henry Flint, who's one of our all-time greatest artists. Um, so that's a perfect opportunity to get on board with the Galaxy's Greatest Comic, and you can do that in print, or you can do it through the app. If you do it in print, then if you subscribe, you get it a few days earlier, and you get it delivered to your door. Um, if you do it on the app, it's every Wednesday, but obviously cheaper, easier, more portable. But yeah, that's the ideal way.
The like, every time anybody asks when how to get into 2080 because it's such a long history of books, and it is really,
Mm,
really daunting to get into. It's how I feel about trying to start reading a bunch of manga series, like, I just have no idea where to start because it's so
yeah,
big. But, like, it's pick a I tell people to pick a genre, like, pick a subgenre of
yeah.
sci-fi.
Mm,
And with, like, with Dread, there are so many key issues. You can find, episodes even on this podcast where we've talked about some of the best starting points. I myself have written a few articles that you can Google about, some of the best Dread stories to jump onto, but honestly, I don't think that there is a bad place to start. A lot of people are gonna say, "Start at Prog 1," but that's dumb, then really hard. So, like, find the subgenre that you like because there is one for everybody and there's really no bad place to start. You can start reading this week and you're going to go, "Huh, when did that happen?" And then you're gonna look it up and you're gonna find a series of progs that create a whole different story that that story came from, and it's just a rabbit hole.
mm.
And but it's a good rabbit hole. Okay, so from Heath Ackley on YouTube, we got him from all over the place.
Oh, blimey.
Um, what strips do you think are or were more suited to black and white art rather than full color? I have
Oh,
my answer.
oh, you go first.
It's Strontium Dog, easily. I much prefer Strontium Dog than black and white.
Um, yeah,
Whoop!
yeah. Oh, yeah,
I have feelings about this.
the conflict that I feel is just those amazing early Star-Lord stories
Yes.
where
I'm
it's
not
in,
counting that.
in color, and it's like lurid, like it's proper kind of these presses can't handle this amount of,
Yeah.
color. Um, and it was kind of Carlos Esquerra when he was. I mean, he'd done color stuff before, but I think I'm probably wrong on this, but I think it was one of the earliest strips where he was handling the color as well,
Yeah.
and a lot of color, and they're fantastic. But I also admit that further to our discussion about Strontium Dog the other week, when you get into that classic run that just seems, I mean, it seems to go on forever, not in a kind of oh god, this is taking forever, but
Yeah.
it's just the stories just evolve and keep going, and it's wonderful. And you're absolutely right. Carlos shines in black and white. Um,
What Rogue Trooper?
well, now you see, I was about to say Rogue Trooper because of Cam Kennedy.
Yeah.
And do not get me wrong, when Cam Kennedy did color, my God, like if you've never had the chance to read The Light and Darkness War,
Oh, it's one of the most beautiful, beautiful comics.
yeah,
Period.
I have my opinions about the story, but the artwork is I mean, it's some of the most it rivals Toppy for me
Yeah.
in control of color, in subtlety of color, um, uh, color as mood.
Yes.
And, it's one of the things that comic books can do that so many other art forms can't, in that it can control time and it can control mood, and it does that through, um, a variety of layered, uh, storytelling techniques, which is incredible. But yeah, there's something about the original Rogue Trooper in black and white, and that applies to Cam Kennedy, that applies to Colin Wilson, that applies to Brett Ewins, Dave Gibbons, of
Yeah.
course, co-creator. There's because certainly that phase of Rogue Trooper was what if World War II but in space.
Mhm.
Um, it it better suits black and white.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay. From Kermit the Beast on YouTube, I have questions.
It's finally
Um,
out.
where is the best place to go to buy original 2000 AD artwork? Could they not be sold on the 2000 AD online shop? I have opinions on this.
So I'll answer the first. I'll answer the second part first,
Okay.
which is we wouldn't be able to do that because that would be third party selling. So 2000 AD, although there are bits and bobs of original artwork that we've picked up over the years, that is for archiving purposes, and it's very small, like a handful of pages,
Mm.
and there's other bits and bobs, but um, so we would never sell those. They're part of the archive. Um, we we would end up handling and being responsible for um, someone else and their thing, their kind of expensive item, and so it is far better to for things like heritage auctions,
Yep.
which is a site. Some people use eBay. There are various groups where you
Heritage
can,
is
kind of,
great
yeah,
for original art. They
yeah,
really are. Like,
and
they handle everything
that's what
so well.
that's where the prime
That's
things
where the
are.
good stuff is.
Um, so
Otherwise,
yeah,
like, look
it,
at
it
creators' social media pages. There are people who just sell, like, the originals because honestly, a lot of the originals, people it's owned by the creator. So,
mm,
like, that's, it's the same way that it works with DC or Marvel, all of these originals, most of the people still have them or are selling them or, going through places like Heritage or eBay and things
yeah.
like that. But ultimately, like, if you're gonna buy original art, try to buy it from the creator if you can, or,
Mhm.
adjacent to it, because then that money is going back to the person who really deserves it the most.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
ultimately. Do you have anything else that you wanna add to that?
No, no,
Okay.
no, hide all the
Okay.
stuff on here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shush.
but also I guess conventions as well. Quite a few
Oh, yeah.
creators take original pages to conventions to sell, and I mean, you're unlikely to pick up a classic page of the Apocalypse War for a song. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. But for me, and we touched on this the other week. For me, original artwork is not about the trading and the
No.
selling and the making money. It's about the personal connection
Yeah.
to that. You know,
It's an financial and emotional investment.
yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Kind of since you were talking about, archiving in relation to that question, Tufty McTavish, love the name, on Blue Sky, asked, "How do you archive the strips? Are they designed and created by page or by panel? And when a future comic wishes to reuse a panel from a past issue, do you have a library to dip into, or does it get redrawn? Talk about the vault."
Well, I mean, the long and short of it is that 2000 AD, the production of 2000 AD has been pretty much digital for 25 years now. There's only well, not even a handful of creators who send in original art to be archived, and I may be wrong, but I think it's pretty much just Simon Davis and Colin McNeil
Yeah.
who send in original art for us to scan. Everybody else sends in TIFF files, PDFs. So
Ooh.
that those are digital files that they've prepared themselves. That goes into the digital archive, ordered by Prog and by Meg and all that and the other. And then we go through. It's effectively just remembering stuff. And luckily, uh, Matt Smith has an encyclopedic knowledge of this, so quite often I'll go to him and say, "Oh, do you remember this?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, it was in this prog." So we're very lucky. In terms of the archive, so we acquired the what was the IPC archive in two installments over the past 10 years. Um, it represents. It's mostly the bound reference copies that IPC
Okay.
held. So it's not original artwork. Like we don't have rows and rows and rows and rows of all the original artwork.
Oh, that's
It's
almost a
it's it,
shame.
it's just the reference copies. So and we, even though that vault is stuffed, it still represents, I think, only about 5 to 10% of the properties that we quote unquote own as a company. And it's fascinating, and I'd love to do more video trips into the archive. It is a
Take
pain
me.
to record in because it's climate controlled. So it's just always this thundering in the background of the aircon. But it is great, and I may well get around to it at some point.
Bring me
Yeah,
over. Bring me. I will do it with you. It will be awesome. Just saying.
you know where we
Um,
are. You know where we are.
yes. Um, this is kind of a fun one. This person sent in a bunch of questions, so thank you,
Okay.
Sun Team, on Blue Sky. How does Tharg tell if a strip is successful? And I've had a lot of conversations recently about what the definition of success is, so I'm super interested in this answer as well.
I don't want to speak for Tharg the Mighty in
Oh.
this. So do not necessarily take what I say with absolute written in stone certainty. Um, it, it depends. It depends. It depends.
It's so
Um,
subjective, right?
yeah, yeah. Sometimes we'll get a strip that it's immediately obvious that it's popular, because we see people talking about it. We get feedback through letters, which people often ask why is there not a letters page very often in 2008. It's because people don't send in letters, and it's emails. The email address is in the prog.
Bring
um
back letters.
well, so maybe we'll have one every few months, and that's because people have social media, and so they can vent on there. They're not necessarily kind of emailing in, but there may be a bunch of letters slash emails that come in saying, "No, we really like this." Quite often, and all editors across comics will be like this. Sometimes you're like, "I've got a good feeling about this,"
Yeah.
So, and for me, that's the value of having a brilliant editor, is that they go, actually, I think this is quite good, so I'm going to stick with it. And more often than not, it doesn't happen every time, but more often than not, once a strip has been bedded in, once you've kind of got that sense, that the readership has got that sense of, yeah, actually, this is evolving nicely, then it becomes popular.
Yeah.
I remember the early days of Brink, for example, where I saw a fair few people who were just not into it at all. It's too slow, blah 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 blah
Flames,
blah. What
flames
what
on the side of my face,
what's
like
up with this artwork and all this? But and not that it's all Iron J Cobalt, but Brass Sun was an obvious example.
oh, yeah,
Not immediately popular, going all the way back to Halo
just
Jones.
ridiculous.
When that there are letters in old 2000 AD of young boys going, "What's this rubbish? Why is there a girl in my comic?" And just imagine if they'd turned around to Alan Moore and said, "No, no, no, book one, they don't like it."
It's
You
terrible.
know, so ultimately there's a judgment call. Like, sometimes it's really obvious, sometimes it's not. Um, it's the editor's call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, actually, speaking on that, you said, young boys being like, "Girls in my comics." Um, what Sun Team also asked, "What is the current average reader age of 2000 AD?" And I want to know the real answer. My joke answer is clearly men in their 50s. Like,
No, no, I won't. We have done audience testing and audience research on this. I cannot tell you what it is because
really?
that is confidential information. Um, but it is a lot younger than the 50s.
Is it really?
It's younger than you think.
Oh, that's actually really great to know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that is reassuring because it's one
Yeah.
of those things where it's like I wanna hold on to hope that things that are intended for all ages but are aimed at a younger audience
Mm.
are still for that audience, you know?
Yeah, ultimately, from about 1990, 2000 AD started growing up with its readers. That's a natural consequence of the editorial decisions that were taken at the time. But I think it's very easy to assume that all the readers are of a particular age.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like,
guess
all
I'm
the
a joke
readers of a
answer.
particular golden age are of a particular age, but
Yeah.
that's not all the readership. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Um, from Echidna 8159 on YouTube, what 2000 AD on the this was on the Strontium Dog episode.
Oh, okay.
What
Yeah.
other 2000 AD moments made you blub?
That's a good question.
I have 2
Go on.
that have gotten me. So one of them that kinda made me, like, upset was, the end of, Killing Time,
Mm,
when both of the agents have been, like, mutilated by Jack the Ripper. That messed me up. I don't know why, but that did it for me.
mm,
And in The Small House, Judge Dredd, The Small House, when you get Dirty Frank's whole backstory,
mm.
that made me really, like, actually upset to read. Like, that I think that one more than anything else kind of, like, tore at my heartstrings pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm sure there have been other moments. I'm just racking my brains trying to think of them. I the most obvious one, and it made me blub, but in a kind of I'm emotionally overwhelmed in this moment,
Yes. Yeah.
was the end of Origins, Judge Dredd Origins,
Oh, that's a good one.
where and if you've not read it, let's immediately stop this episode, go and read it, and then come back. Where Judge Fargo says it wasn't meant to be forever, and he proceeds that because he's been in suspended animation, he's dying, he's confused about where he is, and he asks Dredd where Rico is,
Yeah.
and Dredd lies to him.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
and well, he says he couldn't make it, and there's so much history and emotion and horror and uh yeah, everything just caught up, bound up in that moment, and you feel every single moment of the preceding 35 years, and it opens up uh the possibility of a future in which it's all a lie,
yeah.
and
You're
I
like, "This
think
is just a little too heavy to process."
yeah, yeah. Well, and it's something that John does, and we do need to do that. Why John Wagner is the greatest writer ever episode. Um,
Yeah.
it's something that he does really, really well because he understands pathos,
Mhm.
and I think I respond to moments in literature that are earned, that I feel are earned,
Mhm.
and have context and are grounded and everything, and that was one for me, and to a greater lesser extent, that was then followed up in The Small House,
Mhm.
um, when Smiley says to Dredd, "We're fascists,"
Yeah.
and it's kind of again, there's just that rush of context,
Yeah.
that kind of makes me all teary eyed. I do, I cry at comics about fascist cops.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There's a there's a certain existentialism that comes with it, and if you wanna watch Molch-R cry more about fascist cops in comics, you should read I Am the Law. Like,
crying in print, feel my
crying
tears
in front of
saturated into the pages. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start, like, we're gonna do, like, one more of the serious ones, I guess, and then
Okay.
we're just gonna bang through some of the ridiculous.
All right.
Um, this was asked so many times across literally every platform, I might
Yeah.
scream if I have to read it again. Any idea when Tharg is opening up submissions for future shock pitches?
I'm afraid not. No.
Okay.
The uh, one of the difficulties with open submissions is that it is such a body of work to get through,
Yeah.
that we have one editor, and
He is
uh,
but one man.
he is but one man. Although Tharg is mighty, Matt Smith is mortal, um, and we have not come up with a workable solution to replacing a system where you have to post pages and pictures. That naturally prejudiced people overseas who actually it is actually really bloody difficult to send a letter overseas. um and but also we don't want to have like an email address because that would just be overwhelming.
Oh my god, I
That
can
would
only
fill up
imagine.
within 2 days. Um and Matt's got other things to do, so I'm afraid that there's no plans to reopen open submissions, but there is the Thought Bubble convention competitions every year in Harrogate. Obviously, that's not perfect. That's not a perfect solution to the whole thing, but we've found some absolutely fantastic talents through that. So yeah, and the panels are great fun and a learning experience for everybody.
Yes.
Such as
Um,
Michael, don't drink so much on the Saturday night.
or do, you know? Why not? Would either of you want to write or draw for 2000 AD? If so, what strip would you wanna take on as a legacy strip? Are you pu oh, you're just handing that over, you're like, "I can't even it won't even answer it?"
I might answer it after you've gone. Had a
Okay.
go.
I have a very specific dream that Mike is tired of hearing about where I am allowed to write, either DR and Quinch or Ace Trucking. Because I love a good romp, I love satire, I love that specific brand of dumb humor, and I think I'd be very good at it.
Yeah,
You know?
nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Short answer: I wanted to be a comic book artist for 2000 AD when I was younger, and um,
Can you draw, Mike?
I could, I could. I
Mm.
stopped. I realized in the late 2000s, I think, that if I was going to take it serious, I would have to start from scratch again
Yeah.
and unlearn all the bad habits. And that was around about the time that somebody called Matt Smith started paying me to write. So I could either labor away at a drawing board and not get paid, or I could write for him and be able to afford food. So I
There you
decided to be a
go.
writer instead. There we
Okay. What character do you relate to?
go. Ooh, I think probably Helm
Really?
from Rogue Trooper. Yeah, just
Really?
like long suffering, fairly useless. St- for those who aren't watching this, massive like speech marks, inverted commas, bunny ears, whatever. Strategic, i.e., do that. You over there, do that. Yeah, no, no, you're rubbish. No, no.
I wasn't expecting that answer, but that
Oh,
actually
really?
fits really well.
Mm.
That works really
A bit,
well.
a bit of a grumpy sod who sits on his arse. In Helm's case, on the top of someone's head, there is a chair down here, not a human being.
Yes. I mean, mine's probably Crazy Chrissy or Halo Jones, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a new yeah, that's yep, that's or Ace, like
Or like deep cut. What's his name? Harvey from Strontium Dog.
Yeah,
The
yes,
the guy who hands out the assignments. It's like I
yeah.
forgot. Yeah, you do this. Leave me alone.
Well, there was another question, which was if you were any character in Strontium Dog, who would you be and why? So there's yours.
Absolutely, Harvey. I
See,
mean, he comes to a bit of a sticky end, but yeah, no, yeah, Harvey without the prejudice. Let's put it that way.
see, my answer for that one is I want to believe deep down in my soul that I'm Durham Red, but I'm actually Midden Face. Like, I want to believe that I'm that sultry bitch, but actually I'm just a big goofball. So
I didn't mention in that Stunting Dog episode where I used to do my own used to draw my own Strontium dogs.
Yeah.
And because you're a kid and you're kind of into gross stuff, it would be like, what's their mutation? And the only one I remember is Nuke Head because his head was like a mushroom cloud.
That's a good one. Okay, what judge do you associate yourself with?
Oh, a nameless judge who wanders into an ambush. There's a bit I think in the first Mechanismo story where is it Magruder and Dredd are at Recyc, and
Mm.
there's a couple of first year street judges rush through rush through the academy, and they're riddled with bullet holes, and they're off to be recycled at Recyc, and I identify with those kids. Just just like wandered into an ambush that anyone could have seen, wound up dead. What a bloody idiot. We're gonna replace it with a robot. There we go. That's my life story.
See, I love how all of your answers are uh, like, self-depreciating
Oh,
in every way.
I'm not bloody dread, am I? Oh, no, no, actually, in that vein, Callisto,
Oh,
um,
okay.
who, was a supporting character in the '90s through, Mechanismo, through various stories, and the 13th Planet, um, and that stuff, and I think she ended up coming to a sticky end as well, but she was just, a bit rubbish, bit rubbish.
Can you guess who mine is?
Is it Hershey?
No, it's not Hershey. I don't
Uh,
no, it's not Hershey.
well, I was just about to say, um,
No,
go on.
it's Dirty Frank. It's Dirty Frank. I'm absolutely in down deep in my bones, I'm Dirty Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, for so many reasons, like, he's one of my favorite judges.
Mm.
And also, like, I feel like a little dirty, crazy person who has gotten a little too deep down the rabbit hole, and yeah, I get it. That's my guy.
Yeah, you know what? We need to do a new like an omnibus of all the low life stories,
Yes.
kind of because Dirty Frank especially, well, Amy Nixon as well, but Dirty Frank especially becomes such a key character for Rob Williams's Dread stories.
I'd actually really like to do an episode on, a lot of those types of characters in general, like the low
Yeah.
life characters. That would be really fun. That would be a
Okay.
good one. Could
Yeah.
talk for ages on that. But also, let's do one more. We've got so many other questions, so sorry, everybody, but
Do some quick fire. Go pew 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 pew
okay,
like that.
what 2000 AD series do you love that was not as loved by other readers?
Teo Demoto. Teo Demoto.
Mine's gonna stress you out because it's Big Dave.
God damn Big Dave.
Mine's Big Dave and or Revere. Uh,
I'm there with you on Revere. I
it
think there's so much in the '90s, and I know I've said this before, and I'm like a stuck record, but um, there's so many series that actually any other time and given the right opportunity to breathe, it'd have been great. But the context of when they were published, not so
yeah.
good.
Well, I mean, anybody who's listened to the podcast or read any of my writing knows that I stay bricked up for John Smith. So and of course, like Simon Harrison's artwork is shockingly cool, just like psychedelic all over the place. I love it. But kind of it's sort of the same vein. Charles E.P. Murphy, lovely, lovely guy. He has asked any short run strips that you're still going. Damn, I wish I could have read a second book of that.
Teo Demoto. No.
Yep.
I mean, loads. I was a weird sucker for Brigand Doom.
Really? That's your
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm
I feel
not a
like that's
fan
a left
of
field choice.
yeah. I'm not a fan of Miller's work for 2000 AD, but there was it was Dave. de Quintus.
Mm.
I don't know how to pronounce his surname, but that kind of chiaroscuro noir
Yeah.
black and white artwork I absolutely adored. I think there is one thing that I wish we could have had a series of, and if you're not got the 45 years of 2000 AD book, it's lots of artists doing characters, doing their own versions of characters, and it's like a load of people who have never worked for 2000 AD. But there was, he said, you know what, I should have probably bookmarked this. But there's like Lando and Ian McHugh and Annie Wu, um, Phil Noto, who's,
Mm.
I mean, I've got,
Oh, Phil
a Noto
Noto.
sketch on my wall.
Yeah.
Where the blazes? You you say something while I find this
Okay,
down here.
my answer is well, I don't know if this kind of counts. So I was thinking about Cradle Grave, and I was thinking about how I
Mm,
wouldn't want to see more of Cradle Grave, but I would like to see Cradle Grave have been the start of a series of short one-off, like genuine horror. Uh, anthology is not the right word for it. It's a horror collection, like
mm.
Cradle Grave falling under an umbrella of books in that vein.
Do you know what? I was thinking exactly the same thing earlier today when
Really?
I was thinking about what we may work, because I've seen some of the questions, uh, and having that kind of horror showcase um,
Yeah.
would have worked for me, and I kind of
Doing
uh,
kind of like an individual, like, short run, like, EC Comics approach to it
yeah,
would have
yeah.
been great. Like,
Here we go.
they're so good.
I I
Like,
I, I want to see more Shaco.
yeah,
Like full on
More
bloody
Shaco.
Shaco, like death on every page. But the other one is, and this is the 45 years 2000 AD book. This is Sanford Green drawing the Harlem Heroes,
Love Sanford Green. His Harlem Heroes look so good.
and it's just a pin-up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a proper series, but I
It
would
looks so good.
I would pay good money to have Sanford Green and like a proper sports strip,
Yeah.
like really kind of leaning into the exploitation of of, the American, of the NFL, but kind of dialed up to 11, and in the spirit of the original strip, that kind of stuff. That's
I mean,
that's that's what I do.
proper like, I know Ramsey did a Harlem Heroes thing, didn't he?
Yeah, with, I can't remember their name.
But, like,
Yeah,
bring back Harlem Heroes and make it an Harlem Heroes Inferno sort of, like, devolution nightmare scenario again. I'm
yeah,
here for it.
yeah,
Do it
yeah,
again. Like,
yeah. But
do it
I
again.
I I I really like Sanford's work. So
Yeah, well, yeah.
that's what I do. Anyway, we are very much out of time. One more
Yes.
question. One more question.
One more question. Which of the 2000 AD futures do you wanna live in? Mega City 1, New Earth, etcetera, etcetera, etcetera.
Absolutely none of them. Are you insane?
You have to pick one.
um, uh, Robusters. There we go.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's
Because
pretty
look at being looked after, living in a seaside town in England, being looked after by a giant robot called Charlie.
Oh, you see, you actually picked the good one. I really couldn't come up with, like, the best of any of the worlds off the top of my head, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just die in Mega City 1." So whatever. It's basically what's happening right now.
Well, I mean, loving what's happening in Portland. Yeah,
Yes,
great fun.
I mean, it's everywhere. Hello from the US, everybody.
We have very much.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was an awful lot of fun. We didn't get anywhere near enough
Oh god,
questions.
no. No, we
Um,
yeah. It's
so we should do
there
this
was
again.
yes, we're gonna
Yeah,
do it
cool,
again.
cool. Not next week. We do. We'll do a welcome on board episode next week, I think,
Yay.
because obviously it's a bumper issue this week. But thank you so much, Chloe. Thank you to everyone who's sending questions. Sorry we couldn't get to them all, but very much looking forward to answering more in the future. We should be back in 7 days' time for more from the Galaxy's Greatest Podcast. And until then, It's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Chloe.
Thank you for a good first 6 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And splendid birth rig, Earthlets.
Bye.
Get 2000 AD now. Get.
Well, thanks for joining us on In Orbit every Wednesday, Earthlets. Make sure you like and subscribe and go along to 2000 AD, where you'll be able to subscribe to 2000 AD and the Judge Dredd magazine. Sign up to our newsletter and you'll get hundreds of pages of free comics to download. And download the app for your Apple and Android devices. Now, don't forget, Earthlets, this is the 2000 AD universe. We just live in it.